Hi guys, how are you? So today I just selected some few questions on algebra. So if you're in grade 12, these are the questions that you need to look into because algebra constitute around 25 marks of your paper 1. And I just extracted this from November 2024, the one that was written by the previous grade 12. So the first question here says, solve for x given that 3x squared plus 5x is equals to 0. So when they say solve for x, it means they're saying find the value of x given that 3x squared plus 5x is equals to 0. So what you do with this kind of a question is that you look at the left hand side, right? And what can we do on the left hand side? We can factorize because we have a common factor among these two terms, which is x. So if we factor out x, we're going to have 3x here because this is 3x squared, then plus here it's 5 because we took out x is equals to 0. So from here, after we factorize, we then say either x is equals to 0 or 3x plus 5 is equals to 0. But obviously, we have to solve this one. So we'll get x is equals to minus 5 over 3. This is our values of x. So we have x is equals to 0 and x is equals to minus 5 over 3. So if you get these answers correct, then first question is mostly 2 marks. Then let's move on to the next question. The next question is saying solve for x given that 4x squared plus 3x minus 5 is equals to 0 and correct it to two decimal places. They mean correct your answer to two decimal places. So when you see a question like this, know that you are supposed to use a quadratic formula. Of course, you can use also a completing the square method, but I advise you to use quadratic formula mostly. So we have 4x squared plus 3x minus 5 is equals to 0. So obviously this is going to be our A, this is going to be our B, and this is going to be our C. So meaning that we are going to have our quadratic formula is minus B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So we are going to have minus 3 plus or minus square root of 3 squared minus 4. Our A is 4. Then our C, we take it as minus 5. Don't take 5. Take it as minus 5. Then all over 2, our A is 4. So here, if we are going to simplify, we are going to have, let me use my calculator, because here using the head. So we are going to have minus 3 plus or minus square root of 3 squared is 9. Let me do like this. 4 times 4 times 5, 8. So this is going to be square root of 81. No, sorry. Just a moment. It's going to be 4 times 4 times 5. It is 80. So it's going to be 9 plus 80 over 8. So we have minus 3 plus First take square root of 89 divided by 8. So the first answer is x is equals to 0, comma 80. Or then we take a minus, we just put a minus there, 8 minus 3 minus square root of 89. So the other one is, or x is equals to minus 1 over 5, 1 comma 5, 5 to 2 decimal places. This is our final answer. Then we move on to our inequality on number 1.1.3, in which they are saying so they're saying so for x given a inequality x minus 1 squared minus 9 is greater or equal to 0. Right, so what you need to do here is you first need to find critical values. But how do you find critical values? It means we have to treat the left hand side as equal to the right hand side, is it? So we are going to say let x minus 1 squared minus 9 is equal to 0. So we are going to have x minus 1 squared is equal to 9 if we transpose to that side. If we transpose minus 9 to that side, we are going to have x minus 1 is equals to, or let us tackle it in this way. Let's expand this expression. So we are going to have x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 9 is equals to 0. Yes, when we expand this, we are going to have x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equals minus 9 is equals to 0. So here we are going to have x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equals to 0. Then we find factors of minus 8 and minus 2. So factors of minus 8 and minus 2, we mean numbers that if we multiply, we get minus 8. If we add, we get minus 2. So those factors are obviously between 4 and 2. So if we multiply, so let's see which one are we going to put a negative. So obviously 4 is going to be a negative here. Because if we say minus 4 times 2, we get minus 8. Minus 4 plus 2, we get minus 2. So our factors are minus 4 and 2. So we're going to have x minus 4, x plus 2 is equals to 0, meaning that our critical values are minus 2 and 4. These are our critical values. So this is how you find critical values. You have to first treat your inequality as an equation and solve for x. So when you solve for x, the roots for x that you find are the ones that are your critical values. So let me wrap off here. So after we expand here, we got x squared minus 2x minus 8, so it's greater or equal to 0. So you now know how you find the critical value. So see this, we found out it's 4 and minus 2. So what you do here, I always encourage my learners to use the graph. So when you look at this, obviously it's a smiling parabola. So it means it must be in this form. Then you put minus 2 here, you put 4 here as your critical values. So here, the question just says what are the values of x for which this expression is greater than 0. So when we say it's greater than 0, we mean where it is above the x-axis on the y-axis here. from here to going up is where it's greater than 0. So obviously our graph is greater than 0 at this part and also greater than 0 at this part. So here, if we look here, we see that the x values are decreasing. We're going to f minus 3, going to f minus 4, going down, meaning that x is less than minus 2. Then here, the values of the values of x are going to increase going with the graph. So it means x is greater than 4. Yeah, this is our final answer.